Today we're making my ultimate braise with things I like to cook in ways I like to cook them. The French has gifted us with pot de feu. This is my pot of gelatine. We start with the candidates. Everything here is either extremely collagen-rich or extremely hardworking, or both. We separate them into the blanches and searers. We start with the blanches. Cold water, pork skin goes in, which is practically 100% collagen, and when given time, it will turn into 100% mouth-coating, yummy gelatine. Beef tendons, both collagen-rich and extremely hardworking, making it rich and tasty. Pig's trotters, all the benefits of skin, all the benefits of bones, all the benefits of tendons. Most of these cuts you could find from your local butcher or Asian supermarket or frozen online. We gradually bring in some heat. Normally with a braise, I rarely bother with this step, but with very hard-working muscles like the tendon or the trotter, sometimes you get this off-putting, irony taste and smell from the oxygen-rich proteins. So we simply gently bring in some heat to squeeze out those proteins, skim them off, and we have a cleaner taste and smell. We're not trying to make a consommé, so this is a 5-minute procedure. After draining and rinsing to get rid of the so-called scum, and they should smell like butter by now, we start slow poaching them in accordance to the cooking time required and building our stock at the same time. For that, we add some ginger offcuts, scallion, just a tiny bit of salt because we're going to start building our braise later. Cover with just enough water. We bring in some heat. This will start breaking down the collagen, giving us tender meat and a gelatinous stock. While that's getting a head start, we deal with the first of our searers, the oxtails, which will roast in the oven. So technically, the first of our roasters. Yes, we want the Maillard reaction caramelization to give us the meaty flavors and complex nuttiness, but more importantly, we want to render out almost all of the fat. We'll end up using most of it, but just to paraphrase George, whoever controls the fat controls the flavors, and we want that. Just a bit of salt, bit of oil to help them get started, get even browning. 200 fan, 40 minutes, flipping once. Now, after a 1 hour head start, our roasted golden tail goes in, fat reserved on the side. Our blanched but yet to be added trotters, they also go in. This way everything will be at their best texture without falling apart too much. Now in total this will need about 3 to 4 hours more. With 2 hours left, we'll start our braising process. T-2, we have texture. Now we build flavors. Here we have some fat that I've skimmed off from our braising liquid. Depending on how good a skimmer you are, it might splash a bit. In essence, we have scallion and ginger infused pork fat. And in this beautiful fat, we sear our chicken wings. We've covered why pork skin does not benefit from searing from the get-go. Chicken skin, because it's much thinner, does benefit. In this case, just like the oxtail, we get the meaty flavors and nutty complexity. And once again, we render and control the chicken fat, now infused with our pork fat. And since we're now building our stew, a bit of sticking is no biggie. Once again, we season with salt, just a tiny bit, because we'll adjust the seasoning massively later. Of course, right on cue, everything got stuck. That was because my pan was not hot enough, because I was afraid of the splashing. Once your wings are selectively golden brown due to human error, we push them to the side and we once again control the fat by skimming. We lower our heat, we make room for some very, very tasty fat from our ossobuco. And add the missing wing. Just like a risotto alla Milanese, we let the veal fat render. As usual, the recipe is just a guideline on how to build a very gelatinous stew. Use anything you have access to. For wings, if you have duck wings, even better. If you don't have veal shin, use beef shin. Use more oxtail. Use whatever you can get your hands on. Everything rendered, veal goes in to gently sear. With veal, without dusting, you're not going to get the beef-like browning. We just want this to be lightly golden. Once you're happy with the color, veal and sticky wings, they come out. Now, we inspect our fat because this is the last time we're allowed to change or skim. Once we introduce the aromatics and the spices, most of their beautiful flavors are fat-soluble, and by skimming, we would be taking away those flavors. So, here we have a bit of rendered pork fat, a bit of chicken fat, a bit of marrow fat. I'm happy. We'll save the oxtail fat for something later. Now, the aromatics. Reinforcing what's in our pot, we slice a generous amount of ginger, which will give us some heat and some zesty freshness to balance any unwarranted gaminess from our pork. Scallion white, our savory base, which will also bring a ton of subtle sweetness. Now, through heat, we release the water content, and that would first deglaze the pan, mopping up all those beautiful flavors. Then we evaporate to concentrate the flavors we just talked about. Once your scallions translucent, Chinese 5-spice powder, they go in to really get the fat-soluble flavors going. We have the star anise, which would give us a lot more meatiness, some warmth from the cloves, a bit of citrusy freshness from the Sichuan peppercorn, herbal notes from the fennel. Once the whole room smells like a beef noodle joint, we continue to build sweet paprika. Today we're lucky to have noble sweet from Hungary. This brings the citrusy sweetness and extremely beautiful red color. We lower the heat to bloom the paprika because those beautiful flavors deteriorate starting at 130 degrees Celsius. Once you can smell the goulash, we start introducing the liquid. First, Japanese mirin for sweetness and body. And alcohol, of course, however briefly, is also a wonderful solvent for all those fat-soluble flavors. Staying on the booze, Shaoxing wine, which will bring us a lot of savory depth. If you don't have Shaoxing wine, use dry sherry. Don't have mirin, add a bit of sugar. Don't let shopping stop you. Once you have no flavor left behind, very generous amount of light soy sauce for salinity and umami, and the reason why we went very easy with salting everything. Now we welcome this gelatinous pot to the party. I mean, what doesn't look beautiful here? It's incredible. Oh, look at the tendon. Whew. I know eventually they'll all be coated, but still, this is very satisfying. Check that out. Sticky wings. Also beaucoup. Now, gelatinous liquid. I mean, how beautiful is this? Covering 2/3 of everything, lid on, and we let this simmer for about 2 hours. T-30, we remove the lid and start our gentle reduction. At the same time, we start solving for color. dark soy sauce, which will also bring us more umami and, depending on the brand, a bit of sweetness and thickness. Now, remember the beautiful oxtail fat. We fish out our tendon, which is now almost jelly-like. Roll them in this very beautiful, not the wing, very beautiful oxtail fat to coat. Semi-deglazing this at the same time, mopping up all those flavors. Now, as tempting as it is to pop this straight into the oven, don't. This will turn into super glue. So, parchment paper. Trust me on this, I've burned quite a few. 220 oven for 8 to 12 minutes to give us that beautiful chew and browning on the outside. Of course, no flavor should ever be left behind. We rinse. After half an hour, we have a very, very beautiful stew. Don't go too crazy with the reduction. It might look thin, but because of the sheer amount of gelatin, this is already very, very mouth-coating. Now, final touch and a very unlikely hero, smooth peanut butter sauce, which goes shockingly well with extremely reduced gelatinous braises. You almost get this caramel synergy. Of course, you also have the emotion, the richness and the shine from your peanut butter. Dissolve it on the side, make it easier. And now, our beautiful tendon comes back to the party. Normally at this point, I would recommend a small dash of vinegar just to lift everything, but not today. I want to surrender to the richness. This is my ultimate stew.